Thank you everyone for joining today's webinar. This is a really exciting webinar that we love to host. It's actually the second webinar of the series that we've hosted. They're about quarterly. This is the Oracle Analytics Data Visualization Optimization webinar, and we have a community spotlight within the webinar as well. I want to show the safe harbor statement before we get started, so I'll give you a minute just to glance over that. And also our forward-looking statement as well. All right, so let's really get started now. So I am your coordinator and host for this webinar. My name is Jamie Anderson. I'm a senior principal product manager on the product strategy team for Oracle Analytics. Today, in our call, for anyone who attended the last webinar, this will be a very similar format, but for those who are new, here's a good refresher. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you guys an original visualization from actually one of our customers, and she will be speaking to us today as well about this dashboard that they created for their users at their company or at their organization. And then what we have done is we took their dashboard, and note that all of this is demo data, so just be mindful of that. So we did take their dashboard and we optimized it. We optimized it so it would be visually appealing, easy to navigate, things like that. And we'll go over a lot of that more in this discussion today. So you guys can actually follow along in the presentation. So take a look at these links here. I will also see if my colleagues can copy these links in the chat below as well, so you guys can follow along. But what's really great about this is we actually have an OAC public library, so you guys can access this in real time as a consumer mode. One little slight note is that our OAC public instance is not currently, as of the recording today on our webinar, as of today's date, is not currently on the September 2025 release. So there will be some features that you guys won't be able to see if you're seeing in consumer access, but you will be able to see it by watching this webinar. That will obviously get updated once that instance gets updated to the September 2025 release. Also, if you're watching a replay, same thing, right? Depending on when you watch this might already be updated. So, you'll see it in the gallery. We have, just speaking of the data visualization gallery, we do have on our community site a place, and I will have another slide on this, where you can actually view all of the community submissions in the gallery of real working workbooks that people have used, and you can see what they look like. You can request if they're willing to see the DVA of the workbook, but I encourage you to go there. If you want to make comments and questions about this particular workbook that we're showing today, I highly encourage you to, one, use the Q&A. That's a great place today in the webinar, but also to use the actual post in the data visualization gallery for this workbook. If you have any other questions too about Oracle Analytics, I highly encourage you to join the Oracle Analytics community site, interact in the forums, interact in the idea labs, post things to the data visualization gallery. We love to see our community engage with us, and it makes the community stronger. So without further ado, yes.
Jamie, just one thing, I would like to make a little test. So everyone, we put in the chat the link where I put participate here. All the attendees, we want to see how the website is working. So if you can all click on the latest link, it will show us in the stats on our side if it's handling the load and if everything is working well. So thank you in advance for that.
Thank you, Ben. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. So our agenda, we just covered our introduction. Then I'm going to feature Caroline from Baylor University. She will give us a little overview of their original dashboard and why they use it. Then Ben will give us an expert commentary, followed by a design expert commentary. We actually have members from the Oracle User Experience Design team on this call today who took their wonderful design eye and helped us get to the final product. Finally, and this is, from our last webinar, this next section that Patrick Gouvet will be presenting is our technical expert commentary. And that's where you guys actually get to learn how we made those changes in the workbook. So you guys can use that for tips to doing your own workbooks in the future. So again, this is a great opportunity and platform to ask questions in the Q&A. And then again, if you think of something after the webinar, or if you just want to go ahead and put it in the community data visualization gallery post, I encourage you to do that as well. Then we'll kind of wrap it up with some optimization takeaways, and then we'll have a conclusion and address some of that Q&A. So now I am so excited to introduce Caroline Blanchard. She is a business intelligence analyst at Baylor University. So Baylor University is one of our Oracle Analytics customers. They use Fusion Data Intelligence, which leverages the Oracle Analytics platform. And so I reached out to Caroline and I said, hey, do you have any dashboards that you would like to be featured in this webinar and then also, optimized? So she graciously accepted on behalf of her team. And one thing I wanted to note is Caroline is a really active participant in the Oracle Analytics community. You can see her posting often in the forums, particularly in the Fusion Data Intelligence forum. She has lots of great ideas in the Idea Lab. And so for that reason, we consider her as an Oracle Analytics ambassador. She's also one of our Oracle Analytics leaders, which means she participates in our customer advisory boards, customer advisory councils, Oracle Analytics leaders meetings, which you'll see on the events page. So thank you, Caroline, for being a Oracle Analytics ambassador and leader. And with that, I'm going to hand it to you. Can you tell us about yourself, your role, the dashboard, how it kind of came to be, anything like that? Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jamie. Let's see. I'm coming up on my third year working at Baylor University as a business intelligence analyst. I primarily work with FDI, creating data and dashboards for Baylor. But I'd love to tell you all a little bit about our original PI project tracking dashboard. So this dashboard was created to give principal investigators and project managers access to near real-time financial information on their grants and research projects, which has been critical as Baylor has recently transitioned to becoming an R1 tier research institution. Before this dashboard rollout, principal investigators relied on simply once a month distributed report, or they had to go download their grants and research financial data from various Fusion sources. Now, with the rollout of PI project tracking dashboards, end users have access to a single source of truth and a visual representation of all the financial information that they would need on their grants. This has improved compliance monitoring of grants, reduced administrative burden, and allows faculty and staff to focus on the research rather than digging through various financial reporting. This project was created by my former teammate Katya Binder and has been widely adopted by principal investigators and university research administrators to manage all financial needs and tracking of grants. Okay, now let's dig into the original dashboard a little bit. So note that this is fictitious data provided by Oracle, and it's all based on PPM Fusion subject areas. So if you have those, you could create something similar in your own environment, which is pretty cool. Okay, so up top here, we've got project manager is already pre-selected to a specific project manager just to make things simplified for end users to view. And we've got various other filters that an end user could check out to personalize the dashboard to their needs. Across the top, we've got KPIs that have all of the project managers' various financial information they might need, like their budget, expenditures, should be some commitments, and remaining funding on their grants. Below that, we've got our sponsored programs projects overview. This is a tabular view of all of the project managers' different projects, and it has all the different financial information that a project manager might want to see on their grant or research project. Below that, we've got total expenses, commitments, and remaining, broken down by project number and visualized with a bar chart. To the right, we've got more of a summary view with the percent of expenses, commitments, and remaining for all of that project manager's projects. Below that, we've got expenses by category as a table, which just breaks things down by category, as well as a bar chart of that. And we've also got non-salary expenses commitments by supplier as a table and also as a bar chart view. At the very bottom, we've got the salary distribution broken out by academic year, and we also have salary distributions by expenditure item date in a table view. All right, with that, I'm going to turn it back to Jamie. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Caroline. Really appreciate your willingness to participate in this today and be featured here. So with that, let me switch my screen back. Give me 1 second as I figure out how to get Chrome to do that. All right, there we go. Okay, so next I'm going to pass it to Ben. Ben's going to kind of explain some elements of this dashboard. He has a matrix of how we kind of gauge the visual presentation and optimization of a dashboard. Ben, I'll pass it to you.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Jamie. I'm going to share my screen really quick. And before starting, I just wanted to say that we put the link of the community here. So you can go at any time. You have the analytic news, the gallery that Jamie spoke about, the analytic video. You can see also all the news and announcement here. Fun fact, if you look at the ambassador picture here, you can see Caroline, which is just here. So she has been part of the community for a long time, and she is one of our top community members. And then what Jamie say also, it's that we really want you to go to this link here, where you can see the visualization in detail. You can download it. You can see it completely. If you go and click at the top on Live Gallery, it's going to open it directly here in our live environment, and you can play with it. Finally, we welcome you to vote if you like this visualization, and obviously you can comment here during the webinar. Okay, perfect for that. Thank you. We are going to go here. So I created a scoring mechanism and matrix. We are not going to show you the detail because there is a patent ongoing for it. But what you can see here is that with this specific Oracle Analytic Matrix DV score, we see a score of 16, which is good. The dashboard of Caroline is matching a corporate audience. 16 is a good score. It means that you are already advanced. So you are not a beginner, you are not intermediate, you are almost where we want you to be. But you can do way better in sense of audience for customer if you speak to customer or a different audience, or if you want to speak to executive, conference, social media. So basically what Patrick and the team did, it's to create this new version, and Patrick is going to review it with you. But this new version is having a background, a color, is having like a footer, is using like a new algorithm called Prophet, is using different color code and different header. And when we score this new version, we are at score 46, which is basically expert. To reach this score, again, you need to use AI feature. You need to customize the header, customize the footer. You need to customize the title of each data visualization. You need to put advanced data visualization, not just bar chart, but maybe gauge, maybe use line chart, maybe use forecast, maybe use advanced KPI, conditional formatting, and so on. You have maybe 20 to 30 different rules to increase the number here. We are going to publish that soon in a blog, so you will be able to know how to score your dashboard. But again, I wanted to show that when we show this type of dashboard here and when it's created, we try to improve it at all levels to be able to get a score which is at the expert level. And Patrick is going to explain you how to go to this score. So back to you, Jamie.
Thank you, Ben. Next, I'm going to pass it along to the design team. I will share my screen shortly. All right, so I'm going to pass this along to the design expert commentary. We are joined today by Oracle user experience design experts, Sari Tenorio, John Fuller, and Scott Ichikawa. He is not on the call today, but he did have some contributions to this, this optimized version. So with that, John, I'll pass it to you. You just muted, John. Try unmuting again.
There you go. And it looks like my audio is off too. Are you able to turn that on for my video?
I will give it a shot. Go ahead and speak, and then I will add your video.
Okay. So thank you. My name is John Fuller, and I am with the Analytics UX team here at Oracle. And I work also, as mentioned, with Sari Tenorio. And Sari actually helped quite a bit with the design here that we put together for this. And you can jump to the next slide.
And we may not be able to have your video. I'm not too sure. It thinks you're recording, but I think it already assumes that your video's on. We saw you earlier.
Okay.
That's okay, though. We'll stick with this.
Okay. It says disabled by the host, but that's okay. Today, using the Baylor project tracking dashboard as our case study, I'll walk you through what we think is a practical checklist. That'll really be, you can use for any design challenge that you have. We call this a checklist rather than a magic formula, because there really isn't any one single formula. Every project that we look at is unique. They all have their own context, their own user needs, and unique challenges as well in handling the data. But we do have is some principles and practices that we think we can use to help make the better design decisions. Next slide. So I love this quote from Alberto Cairo. He's the author of several books on data visualization. He's a professor at the University of Miami, and he's a visual journalist as well. And as I mentioned, he's written several books on the topic. But what it highlights here is that when you're thinking about what makes a good data visualization, there's making it attractive, making it appealing, of course, but really it should be transparent and allow readers to get what they need quickly and clearly. So with that in mind, we use that as a lens when we're looking at what makes a successful dashboard and how we are communicating. So this is the checklist that we run with. Try to start with purpose, understanding what we're doing. We're going to align it to the identity, and we looked at Baylor's branding elements. And then there's a lot of churn, a lot of working through the process of trial and error. We go back and we focus on highlighting what really matters and making sure the important things are coming through. And then we kind of just refine and iterate with those user goals in mind. Next slide. So when we talk about starting with purpose, we have this little sentence structure that we have at the top here, which is basically trying to identify who, what, and why. So in this case, we're talking about principal investigators at Baylor. They need to track project budgets and expenditures, and why are they doing that? So ultimately, they need to maintain compliance, manage their funds effectively, support research and project success. So everything that we're doing in this dashboard should ultimately go back and support those goals. If you find yourself going down different avenues, maybe take a step back and think about what it is that you're trying to accomplish and try to keep the focus on really hitting the key things. Next slide. We talked about aligning to identity. So we went to the Baylor site. We grabbed all the brand elements, the logo, colors, etc. And we use these to build the dashboard around these colors and elements to make sure that we're staying on track with the brand look and feel that we were trying to get to. And we also looked at the website as well to try and take some cues from there. From there, we go through an exercise of iterating. So this is really, we took several different passes here, trying the different colors, different areas, seeing how we can highlight different areas of the page layout, which ones are doing best job of prioritizing the most important messages. And we go through multiple iterations to ultimately get to one that we feel is working best. Next slide. From there, we're really trying to focus on highlighting the key features. And Caroline already mentioned some of these already, but this is a typical structure that we use for a lot of dashboards that works pretty well. So right up at the top, there's in that row where I have the number 1, you can see we've added filters. So those filters act as on the entire page below. and they let the users customize what it is that they're focusing on. So they can focus on a specific project organization, a specific individual project if you really want to. You could focus on project statuses to just look at those that might have issues that you want to surface and highlight. Or maybe you want to focus on all the projects for a specific manager, but using those filters, it's going to control everything below, and all the visualizations will adjust to let you focus in on specific areas at a time. If you don't have those filters on, you're going to get an overview of all the data in the system, which is also really useful. So right below that, you can see there's a row of key measures. So again, Caroline mentioned this already, but you can get an overview of your overall budget in the system, how much expenses are there, how much money has been committed, and what's remaining in your overall budget. There's also some additional details under each of those to fill in even more information that's relevant. But that gives you kind of a high-level orientation. Below that, we have the key visuals that really drive the project. So the bar chart is showing all the measures to the right. We're showing how much is remaining in the project, the expenses and commitments. That's essentially what it's costing you. And then if there's a little bit of red to the left, which we highlighted in red here, that's going to show you if you're over budget, to highlight that. We've got a gauge on the right to help you understand, out of your overall projects, how many of those are over budget. And then with the expenses forecast, we've incorporated the profit prediction model to help identify patterns going forward. And then below that, then we dig into the details where you can really get into individual project levels, status and details. And we've also added some buttons here tied to data actions, so you can really drill in even deeper. So it goes from high level down to the details and supports the user information scanning. So taking a closer look here, I mentioned some of these already. Some of the things I'd like to call out on the bar chart, we incorporated this view by control, which is just under the title. That allows us to surface multiple different use cases. So we can sort this chart, which is focused right now on the top 10, but it'll show me the top 10 projects based on biggest budget, or those that are most over budget, or those with the most uncommitted budget. So if you're in danger of losing your budget based on not using it, we can highlight various different use cases just by putting that parameter in there and toggling. Another thing we thought about as we went through this is using consistent colors. So again, taking the cue from the Baylor brand colors, we're using consistent colors throughout the dashboard. So anytime you see that dark green, it's going to be talking about your remaining budget. Anytime you see the yellow, that's expenses. Your commitments are in blue. And then if you're over budget or you have less than zero remaining, we're going to highlight that in red. So just keeping consistent colors throughout helps users quickly orient themselves to what's being communicated in the dashboard. Some other things we did in the table below was just using embedded visual bar charts below to help give it at a glance understanding of your project timeline. We incorporated some conditional formatting in the next column there. Those kind of things help details jump out of the user that are important for them to understand as they're going through it. And if you click on the next slide, we have, I mentioned some of these data actions. If you click those buttons, you can dig in even deeper. And we treated this with a pop-up feature, which is relatively new in OAC, that allows us to bring even more deep dive data into the same context as the users. They don't need to leave this page and go somewhere else to get into the details. They can actually bring it directly in and overlay it on their dashboard and then dismiss it as needed. And then additional bar charts on the right-hand side are going to highlight and regroup that information in the table so that you can see it in additional different ways. Okay, next slide. So again, thinking about our checklist, the dashboard really isn't successful when it just looks beautiful. It's successful when it helps someone act with clarity. So while we're layering all these tips and tricks in there, we're also trying to keep in mind, ultimately, are we meeting the needs of the customer? Is it going to provide the information they need? And when we do that, then that's when we really achieve success. And there's that checklist again. So this is just a good process you can use to run through. So first off, understanding what it is you're trying to achieve, who, the what, and the why. Keep that centered in your mind. You stick with your branding elements. Try to use colors consistently throughout. churn, and then it's sort of a process of churn through, iterating relentlessly, make sure you're focusing on the key elements, and then refine. Okay, thank you. I'll hand it back to you, Jamie.
Thank you, John. Next, I am really excited to pass this next section to Patrick Bouvet. He is our technical expert. He is going to show, he's actually going to pull up the workbook, show you guys how you can leverage these features in your workbooks in the future. So Patrick, I'll let you take it away. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jamie. Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. So, before going into the details of the dashboard, I just want to show how a user can interact with it. So first of all, as John described very well all the dashboards. So you can filter on the department or organization name here, and it will filter the whole workbook. And you can see directly that there is already some conditional formatting happening. So the remaining budget here, the time is going red because it's becoming negative. And you can also see the sum that is down and red right now. So there is already some conditional formatting depending of the values that you have in the tiles. When you're going down, you have this horizontal bar chart. And here, when the user is hovering each bar, they can have additional information about each project. So what is the project manager? Is the project approved or not? What is the overall budget, etc. So we are adding a bit more information just by hovering and using the tooltip. As also John said, the user can select on which dimension they want to have the top 10 to be displayed. Do I want the top 10 to be displayed by budget or by remaining or commitments? So for example, here I want to see the top 10 projects that are over budget. And I can very quickly go down this, and I can even use the data action to look at the suppliers or the category, for example. So with this main visualization, I can already have very nice and interesting insights. On the right side, I have the gauge, and here I have the line chart with the forecast with the Prophet algorithm, which is a new algorithm that we have in OAC, which is pretty strong when we have a lot of historical data. Then we have the table that we enhance a little bit. So into that table, there is one feature that was added thanks to data action. We are generating an email. So let me click on this on the project here. So when I click on that project, it will generate an email automatically and take some of the values of the table to generate this email. So hello, Philip, which is the project manager of that project. Your project has 6.54 million of remaining budgets. You have until September 2027 to consume all the budgets allocated to your project. So this is drafting an email, and the user can use that email to send it directly to the project manager or add more context to it. So this is the first feature. We have also a loading bar here, depending of the time spent for the project. We also have some conditional formatting here, depending of the remaining rates. So when you're seeing here a warning sign, it means that no budget has been approved for that project, but some expense has been done. Or we can see this red button when the project has remaining budgets that is over budget. So that is over budget. So we are adding this conditional formatting and like custom columns to enhance the table and not just having like a simple table. And we are also using the buttons here to go deeper into the insights. So the button here are a new visualization from the September release. And when I click on a button, it's going to pop up a new visualization. Here we used the narrative language visualization that is going to generate a text thanks to LLM with providing like a summary insights of the data that is present into this visualization. So it's a nice way to very quickly have some context about the data we are looking at. And it is contextual to the filter we are applying to it. So I can even change the filter and it's going to change the text as well. I have another button that is going to details by category or details by supplier. And same here, it's going to open a pop-up with another visualization where I have my table and I have my bar chart. So I can use and open this pop-up through the data action from the table here, from the table, or I can open it from the bar chart as well. One also nice feature into that visualization is the AI assistant. So the AI assistant is able to provide additional insights that are not visible into this dashboard. So let's say here, I want to have the distribution of projects depending of the budget left. So what is the overall distribution? And the AI assistant will be able to find out the correct columns or generate custom calculations to provide the best visualization for that question. Let's wait a little bit. I'm blocked for a long time, so maybe that's the issue. I will show it. Ah, yes, I need to log in again. Okay, nice. Sorry. I thought that this would going to happen.
Good catch. We could have waited for long.
So let me reload. So the assistant is able to, as I said, so to pick up the right columns and generate insights depending of the column that are available and how I enable the AI assistant into my dataset. So here, nice, I asked what is the distribution of projects depending of the budget left. I don't see very well the text, so let's change that to a horizontal bar chart. And it will change the visualization. Okay, nice. So now I can see that indeed I have 111 projects that are over budget, but I can see that I have 61 projects that are between 0 and 25% of budget left, etc. So it's adding additional information. And let's filter on projects that are active and focused on consulting. So here I'm asking to filter on 2 different columns. I didn't specify the name of the columns, or I didn't specify like a specific department or organization name, but the AI is able to find out the right column. So here it picked up the project status column, and also it has created here this filter and picked up all the department or organization name that were into consulting. Because it has also access, I enable to have access to the values of that column. So you can also discuss with the AI assistant to dig deeper into that dashboard. Last key feature of that workbook is that we replicated a website. So we replicated the design of the Baylor University website. And when you do so, you want this to be completely responsive. So we use the responsive canvas editor, a feature from OAC, to make everything readable and visible, whatever the screen size of your laptop or of any device. So you can see here before I had some spacer on the right and on the left, but when I reduce the screen, the spacer left. And if I reduce again my screen, I can actually see that now I have less columns. So it's usually a best practice to remove some columns when when the size of the screen reduce. So your table is always visible and you don't have to scroll horizontally. So let's resize again my visualization. And what happened? The layout changed again. So here we can see that the title reduced. The layout of my tiles is positioned differently. I have less columns as well into my table, and let's reduce again. And here I have like a mobile friendly layouts with the types that are different. My table is showing only 2 columns, and we don't have the gauge visualization anymore. We focused on the most important one, which is the forecast one. So we can completely make the dashboard responsive. And now as it's responsive, you can also open it into your Oracle Analytics application. So here, just a recording from my iPhone mini. So it's a very, very small screen. And on my iPhone, the dashboard looks like this. So I've been able to make it completely responsive, even for very, very small screens. Perfect. So now we can go into edit mode, so I can give a bit more details on how we are doing that. So first of all,
Patrick, just one thing in the question, you have one question that you might want to address today. Someone asked, how did you put the refresh date at the top right? Thanks.
Yes, so this is actually from the original workbook. So it's just taking a parameter from the current dates. So I think it's only the current date here. It is the same parameter used into the original workbook. So we used the same parameter. So these are default parameters available in OEC. So you have current date, current time, display name, and username, and you can use them whenever you want. So I think it's just to show that this dashboard refresh every day. So let's go into the details. So yeah, first of all, the layouts. So into the last webinar, we used a freeform layout. When you go into the Canvas properties, you can see you can choose between AutoFit and freeform. So into the last webinar, we show how to use freeform. So it's good when you want to build infographics or very sophisticated dashboards, because you can position the visualization anywhere you want on the screen. You can overlay the visualization on top of each other. But for to create some good visualization with responsiveness, it's a best practice to use AutoFit. And we also wanted to show how to build nice visualization with AutoFit as well. With AutoFit, all visualization will be stacked together and will resize automatically depending of the user screen. So here my width is screen, which means that the width of all visualization will reduce depending of user screen, and my height is grow, which means that basically it's going to be fixed, and it will just depend on the visualization I put into my canvas. So using AutoFit with as screen and height as grow is the best practice when we want to build something responsive. Also into the canvas properties, we used a background image, which is a JPEG image. And this JPEG image allows us to have this top green and black header, to have the gray section that we have here, and to also have the bottom, to have the green bottom. So this is thanks to the background image we've added. Let's go into all the visualizations. So one thing again. So I want to show you how we've done that responsive. So we've created that as a website. So we've used some spacer. So these are like empty visualizations that you can put anywhere to have like a more professional dashboard and putting more space into your visualizations. So we have one spacer on the left, one on the right. So when you have a very wide screen, it reduces a little bit the size of the page, and it mimics a web page. We've also added some spacer between the tiles and the visualizations, and here some spacer as well to have a better distribution of all the visualizations. And now we use the responsive canvas editor. So when I click here, I have my responsive canvas editor that allow me to customize my layout depending of the user screen. And basically how I'm doing that, I just reduce the screen and I check if there is some like issue when the user is going to look at the dashboard. So I found a few breakpoints. I have my first breakpoints here where I just removed the spacer. So I have like the same visualization, everything is the same. The only thing that changed is the spacer on the right and the left that I removed. Then I reduce again, everything is going very well. And I reach a specific point where the size of the screen is too small for the table. So here what I've done, I removed some of the columns. So you can see when the screen is a bit bigger, I have about like 12 or 13 columns, and I reduce the size. Now I have 9 columns. So I just remove some of the columns to make it always readable and visible for the user. So how to do that? When you add a breakpoint, you just duplicate the visualization and you hide the old visualization and you remove the column from the new visualization that you have. So then you just replace it. And we can see into the manage breakpoint here, all the visualization that have been hidden. So you can see that the spacer here have been hidden. And I have also all the tables that I'm going to use for each breakpoint that are now hidden, but will be visible for depending of the breakpoint. So let's reduce again. So everything is going well. I'm seeing everything correctly. And now I have a new breakpoint. So same here, I removed some of the columns. Always a good practice when we want to make things responsive. And also I've changed the layout of my tiles. So I can always see the secondary measures, my conditional formatting, and so on. What I've done as well, I reduced the size of my title, so it takes less space, and I removed the subtitle as well. I can reduce again, and here the last breakpoint that will work from 550 pixel to like even like the smallest screen. I only have 2 columns now, and I remove the gauge also visualization. So now I have like a nice mobile experience.
Patrick, since we have probably about 8 minutes left for your section, would you mind showing? I see one of the questions in the Q&A is about the NLP feature. So can you show them where that viz is in the sidebar there that you're hovering on?
Yeah, I will go to that. Do you want me to do that right now? Or?
Yes, just because we probably need to optimize our time.
Okay. So the button, let's take that. So the button visualization is a new feature. So basically you can create as many button as you want. And this button are tied to data actions. So here I've created the button and I can just select which data action is going to trigger. And the secret, I would say, is that into my data action, I've created here details by supplier button. You just need to put off the toggle of requires data because you don't need any data to trigger that. And here I'm redirecting this button to this canvas as a pop-up. And basically it's just this canvas where I'm using the language narrative visualization I've added one attribute and one value, but you can add more. So here I've added my remaining budget, but I can even put my, I don't know, my commitments, and I can even put my project status. So more you add dimensions and measure, the more the text will be bigger, and you can customize it. You can also, as it's through a LLM, you can change the tone, so it can be factual, casual, or more professional, more business. Here I've chosen factual. You can also change the level of detail, so if it's going to be long or if it's going to be short. You can change the language. So we have a few languages that are available, and also you can change the fonts, what is the text fonts, etc. So it's highly customizable.
Thank you. Since data actions are such an important part of this workbook, can you go back to the data actions option and kind of review the background of what's happening behind all of them? Like I know you mentioned the mail data action where we email someone.
Yes.
Can you show that off? Thanks.
Yes, obviously. So the mail data action is it's a URL navigation data action. With the URL, you can put any URL that you want, and when the data action will be triggered, it will activate that URL. And you can embed values from your table or from any visualization into that address, into that link. So here it's a simple mail to. And I've just brought the value that I have into the table. So you have to write it like this, $ and key values for column, and then you choose the column or the measure that you want to bring into your data action. So here I'm taking the email address, the project manager name, the project name, the remaining budgets, the dates, etc. And it allows me to build that draft email. So mail to, we have the subject that is equal to this, and we have the body that is that we are seeing somewhere here, body that is equal to this. And then you can use this to format your email. So this is a spacing to go below, but you can find how to create mail to on the internet as well. And that action is very powerful. So you can use it for URL navigation, API, analytics link, which are the one we are using for the other data action and the button here. And you can also use it for publishing events as well. Do you want me to focus on something else, or because there is just one thing I wanted to highlight is the column selector here. So let me know if I have enough time.
Yeah, let's go over that.
Okay, for this bar chart, we have the tooltip that is customized. Just one tip on that is that into the tooltip, you can add additional measures to provide more context into the narrative you're building into your tooltip. But you can also add additional attributes. You just have to put additional attributes into the category, and you just hide them. And this attribute will be available in your tooltip when you build it. So here now I'm able to bring my project name, my project manager, my project status, and all the measures that I've added into my custom tooltip. What we have here as well is the ability to change the dimension. So I have my top 10 by budget, by commitment, or by expense. So here I have two features that I'm using. The first one is the parameter. So I have one parameter where I have the list of everything. And then I have a calculation that is here, projects, where it is column selector, top N measure. And I'm just saying when the parameter is equal to expense, then provide the expense measure. When it's equal to commitment, provide the commitment measure. It changed the measure depending of the value of my parameter. and then I use this into an expression filter. And I just saying to my visualization, bring me my top 10 for that specific measure, depending of the parameter.
And Patrick,
Yeah.
I think it's a good point here to have a question from Marcelo. Marcelo said that it seems to be a lot of things you have been doing on this workbook. How long did it take for you to build the entire workbook? Or even for a power user, how long do you think it will take?
I would say for all the technical things, if you're an expert, I would say 2 to 3 hours, like half a day, maybe.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
If you know what to do. So here we spend some time on the design, the colors, etc. But yeah, for all the technical things, it's not so long. You see, I have only 2 parameters, just few calculations, so it's not so long. Just one maybe before I stop, one thing about the loading bar. So here it's showing a loading bar depending of the time spent for the project. I've just done some calculations, and I have one calculation here where I'm using some blocks. So it's a special character. So you have empty blocks and full blocks. And depending of the time spent rates that I've calculated, I'm filling this loading bar. And I'm adding to that loading bar a conditional formatting. And I change the color of my loading bar depending of its status. So it's a nice way to show a loading status for date or even for something else. Do you have any question you want me to cover?
Someone asked, how did you get those blocks?
And I believe
And
that's
it's
referring to the
Marcelo.
buttons.
I think this is I
Or-
think
oh,
these
those.
are the loading bar, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've provided the answer then. Yeah, if you have any question, please feel free to send me a message directly through the community or directly to me, and I will be very happy to provide more details on how this has been created. We are also sharing the DVF file, so you can see all the backend, everything that has been done into that visualization.
We have a question about conditional formatting that I think would be good to share. And we are running low on time, so maybe let's do two things. Show the conditional formatting, and then also if we could just highlight the profit meta line chart, and then I think we will wrap this up. Yeah, so one thing that is interesting with conditional formatting, so it allows to do many things. So for example, here I have one conditional formatting that is adding an information into my tooltip. So you can see here, I have a warning that is saying no budget approved for this project. And I've done that thanks to the conditional formatting. When you're going into the icon here, you're going into note, and you can choose if you want to display in as a note, as a tooltip, or note and tooltip. So a note would be something that will expand into your visualization, and the tooltip will be in the tooltip, and so you can add some text, which is nice. So it will be added into your tooltip as well. And besides that, yeah, the conditional formatting is pretty easy to use. You can change the color, the fonts, add icons, standard icons or emoji, add notes, or even add a specific legend if you want to put a description of the measure or of the attributes you want to highlight.
Are we good? I will have many things to share as well on the AI assistant, how it has been set up. There are many things I could share, but as we run out of time, please feel free to reach out to me directly, and I will be very happy to answer to all of your questions.
And
Yeah,
also,
there are
I mean, you can reach out to Patrick directly, but also we do encourage you to comment on that data visualization gallery. Because if you have a question, it's very, very likely that someone else has a question. It'd be great to be able to see the question and answer on there. Manpreet, would you like to add something?
No, I was going to say that if there are some unanswered questions, we will be addressing them in the community post. So we will be collecting all the unanswered questions and we'll be addressing in the community post. Okay.
Perfect.
All right. Well, from that, I will share my screen and pass it along to Ben. Thank you.
Perfect. And you are going to share your screen. Perfect. Cool. So thank you everyone for joining. I saw that we had a lot of people from India, and I know that it's late for you in India from Pune and different regions. So from Bangalore also. So thank you. I saw people from Nashville, Dallas, Norway, Austin, Milan in Italy, Miami, New York, Memphis, Boca Raton, and so on and so on. I'm not going to go through all the name, but thank you so much. I see Jamie is also putting an NPS for the webinar, so please tell us what you think about this webinar. Jamie has been working a lot with all the team to create this. Is it a monthly webinar, Jamie, or is it quarterly?
It is quarterly.
Quarterly. Okay, perfect. Again, Patrick and the team have been doing a huge work to make this an expert viz. I saw in the comments some people saying that it's overwhelming because you have so many changes, but go back to the community, post if you have any question. We have also a training forum, and we will spend time to answer all of you in the coming days. Okay, back to you, Jamie. Thank you. Oh,
Yes,
last
thank
thing.
you.
Sorry, last thing also, we are going to have a data visualization challenge, a new one. It's going to be start of next year. We will send more information about it, but continue to learn about Oracle data visualization because we will have new things to win at this data visualization challenge. We will nominate the top data visualization challenge artist. So again, stay tuned. It will be start of next year. Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you, Ben. And maybe a few things, I have this slide up here. So if you do need some resources to access this biz again or see it in the data visualization gallery, I highly encourage you guys to ask your questions. We are at time. What I can do is we can try to address verbally some of the remaining questions, but if questions keep coming in, we will need to eventually close the webinar. But since there's just a few outstanding ones, I did want to cover them. So I see Patrick is addressing one of them, so I will skip over that. One of them, Suganya, she asked it, is the button bar feature available for subject areas? So one thing I wanted to reiterate is the button feature is a new feature in the September 2025 release, which means that if your OAC instance has that release already, you should be able to see it and use it for any data in your subject areas. Now, if your instance is not already on the September 2025 release, which all of our FDI customers will not quite be there yet. So you guys will just need to wait a little bit longer to be able to see that. Just once that, that feature is released, you'll be able to see it. But subject areas shouldn't have any bearing on the actual button feature itself. Another question that I would like to answer live is, let's see, how do you do conditional formatting for a full row? I believe within the actual visualization within the table, you can go to the conditional formatting option, which is that little stoplight icon, and you can do it from there. You select the actual attribute that you want to leverage, and that will populate for that column. Another one that, let's see. On the loading bars, can we do the same for columns? Thank you. So for the loading bars, and that was, I believe, what Patrick showed with the feature, that was within a column. So I might be misunderstanding the question, but it was essentially what the loading bars was its own attribute that was created via custom calculations. And so that's how it got added as a column in the workbook. So that's how you do it. I believe that's everything. Thank you, everyone. Again, we really appreciate you joining this webinar. We appreciate your excitement. If you have more questions, we highly encourage visiting the Oracle Analytics community site and asking your questions in the forums, on the DV gallery, and be an active participant. We love to see your activity there, like Caroline. And again, one last thank you to Caroline. I really appreciate you being able to join us today. And thank you, Baylor, for letting us feature your workbook. So thanks again, everyone. Until next time, bye-bye.